What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome on to today's video, and today we have got the Honda CB650r. This is another bike from Branson's Motorcycles over in Yeovil, so a big shout out to them for lending us this bike. This bike shares a lot of the same characteristics as the CBR650R. It's the same engine and the same chassis along with the same suspension, and this is Honda's middleweight engine, the 650cc class. This has a on the road price of £7,399. As with most entry level bikes into the market of the 600cc realm, this has very few rider aids to go with that guide price. Very bumpy road, making me sound a bit funny. As standard, it comes with ABS and traction control. Apart from that, that is it across the board. Really simple, easy bike to ride. On the left hand side, with your index finger, there's a button all the way at the back, and that's the traction control button. All you're going to do to turn off the traction control, off the throttle, hold that button down, and there you can see top right hand corner, the T with a line through it as illuminated. That means our traction control is cancelled. Turn traction back on, off the throttle, hold that button again, 2 seconds, and there you go, the light has switched off. When you forget the traction control's on. Let's look at the handlebars, see what we've got. On the left hand side, like I've already mentioned, top left we've got our traction control and an off switch. Underneath that we've got our passing light, and then we've got our high beam. Just to the right of that, you've got hazards. Nice to see on a bike of this size. Don't normally find it at this kind of price range. Underneath that you've got your horn, and then your indicators left to right. Moving to the right hand side, all we've got is a kill switch on and off, big red button. Underneath that is your starter, and that is it across this bike. Like I said, really simple, an easy bike just to get on and throw your leg over and just ride it. Not worrying about all the technical stuff. Have you got it in the right setting? Do you need to change any of the traction controls or the wheelie control button? Okay, so as naked bikes go, as always, there is next to no wind protection on this. But like I've said on my other bikes, when you've got a naked bike with no fairing whatsoever, it actually allows the wind to spread across your whole top, meaning you're not going to get a specific area of buffeting, which is normally located around the helmet when you do have some form of a fairing. And because this bike isn't rip your arms off type of speed, actually the wind isn't too bad. My torso is fairly upright for this riding position. I'm bent over a little bit for a naked style bike, but overall not too bad. I'm not stretched out reaching for the handlebars. Okay, so lower half, my knees are a little bit bent, but not overly bent like a sports bike. It's only when I jumped on the MT-07 that I realised that that has got a much more comfortable riding position over this, and that's only really where I realised where the knees were a bit more bent on this than I thought. Okay, so looking at the dash down there, alright, it is always in what we would call dark mode nowadays. The information that you can find on there, you've got your speed nice and large in the centre, you've got your rev range on the left hand side. This revs up to 14,000 RPM. We've got a gear indicator inside that. Next to that we've got a fuel gauge, always nice to see on a bike rather than just a fuel light. We've got the time at the top above the speed. We've got our odometer on the bottom right hand side, and then also top right hand side you've got the engine temperature. Like I said, very basic information that's obviously given on this, because there's not a whole lot of tech inside this bike for you to worry about and need to have eyes on. Sometimes I know when you jump on a bike that's got a lot of information, so let's take the KTM 1290 Super Adventure. That's got a lot of rider aids, rider modes that you can flick through, and you've got to play around and adjust. So when you jump on a bike for the first time, sometimes it can be a little bit daunting. So when you get on a bike like this, sometimes that's quite nice and refreshing, just to be able to get on and ride. Make sure your traction control's on, ABS is always on, and then just get out. Okay, so doing motorway speeds It's not too bad, it's not too vibey. There's a little bit coming through in handlebars, but nothing too bad. Same again with the foot pegs. The only thing I wish I've got used to, I suppose, on the other bikes is cruise control. Just so you can relax that right arm for a little bit, but say la vie. I'm finding the brakes on this bike are a little bit of a failure point for me, but then again, at a price range of 7.4, can you expect top of the range brakes? No. Is it something that can be easily fixed? Yes. Get some new sintered brake pads, maybe add in some hell braided lines. That's a cheaper option. You've then got some discs, you've got the master cylinder, you've got new calipers. There's other things that you can do, but I definitely would change the pads as the first thing, and then look at the lines as a secondary if I feel like I just still need more. That'll be neutral. In my opinion, these are the type of roads where these type of bikes excel. We're on the B roads, the A roads, the back roads, that national speed limit, nice and twisty. I think this bike handles really nicely. I think the flickability, it's on point. So when you're getting into these twisty roads, this is the type of bike you want to have. You don't need a litre bike or anything more to enjoy yourself on these type of roads. This will do the job fine. It is nice to see now with these bikes these days, they are coming with LEDs all the way around. I think styling wise of this bike, actually it looks on point. I do know you've got the CB1000 and also you've got the CB125, and they all share very similar styling, but I do like it. Been riding about 40 minutes now. My knees are starting to get a little bit of discomfort in due to the position of the pegs, but that could just be down to me and my old age, not necessarily the bike. If I was to get this bike, then I would probably just whack on some aftermarket pegs, using the aftermarket pegs. So sometimes that just allows you to push the pegs slightly forward just to change that ride position, or you could drop it slightly depending on what type of pegs you get. Okay, so here we are with a CB650r stock exhaust. See how she sounds. Not too bad as stock exhaust go, but as always, get rid of the slip-on, get rid of the cap box, and I'll tell you what, this thing will open up. The next time you see this bike will be in a versus video where we'll be comparing the Honda CB650r to the Yamaha's MT-07. That video will be filmed by myself and Zoe, so you'll get two complete different rider perspectives on those bikes. Myself, 6 foot, 110 kilos, 10 years riding experience. Zoe, 5'5" and about 6 months riding experience. As always guys, thank you very much for watching this video. This has been my first riding review of the CB650r 2021. Until the next time, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos just like this coming out.